Hi, welcome back to Crime with Hal. This is episode 4 in our deep dive series covering real crimes from the 1990s to today. Today, I want to talk about a case that I still struggle to make sense of, the Watts family murders from 2018. It's not just what happened that's disturbing, it's who did it. A father, a husband, someone who seemed normal. And I'll be honest, this is one of those cases that sticks with you. The details, the footage, the lies. It all feels like something out of a movie. But this was real. These were real people. Let's start by getting to know the Watts family. Chris and Shanann Watts lived in Frederick, Colorado. Shanann was a thriving, outgoing mom of 2 little girls, Bella and Celeste. She was active on social media, passionate about her wellness business, and really full of life. Chris, on the other hand, came off as quieter, a bit reserved. But they looked like a happy family. I remember seeing one of Shanann's Facebook videos while going through the case. In the video, she's recording Chris coming home, surprising him with the news of her 3rd pregnancy. She's holding up a shirt that says, "Oops, we did it again." Chris smiles, but it's not big, it's brief. Even back then, people noticed how detached he seemed. And I'll admit, I don't know why watching that clip now gives me a lump in my throat. On the morning of August 13, 2018, Shanann came home from a business trip around 2 a.m. Her friend, Nichol Atkinson, tried to reach her later that morning. No response. By noon, Nichol was worried. She called the police. That move likely changed everything. The police arrived. Chris opened the door, calm, cooperative, even showed them around the house. But here's what got me. He never asked, "Where's my family?" He didn't seem panicked. He just kept talking, explaining. It was off. And if you've ever watched that Bodycam footage, and I have, more than once, you can feel something's wrong. Over the next 48 hours, Chris gave interviews to the media. And I remember watching those clips on the news thinking, wait, this guy doesn't look devastated. He looks rehearsed. In one interview, he says, "I just want them to come back. Shanann, Bella, Cece, if you're out there, just come home." He looks right into the camera, but there's no break in his voice, no urgency. It's chilling. Meanwhile, the police weren't buying it. They brought in the FBI, gave him a polygraph, which he failed. One of the agents even told him straight up, "This polygraph indicates that you're being deceptive." And then, the truth cracked open. At first, Chris said Shanann had killed the kids, and that he killed her in rage. But that lie didn't last. Eventually, he confessed. He had strangled Shanann after telling her he wanted a divorce. He then smothered Bella and Celeste, one by one. He drove their bodies to an oil site, dumped Shanann in a shallow grave, and put the girls in separate oil tanks. 2 little girls placed inside crude oil tanks. I don't think I've ever heard a more devastating detail in a confession. But what was the motive? Why did he do it? Chris was having an affair with a woman named Nichol Kessinger. He wanted a new life, no more responsibilities, and no messy divorce. But here's what shocks me in cases like these. Why not leave? Why not walk away, file for divorce? What kind of emotional detachment or darkness lets a man kill his own children? In interviews from prison, Chris claims he was possessed or blacked out. But I think that gives him too much credit. This wasn't a snap. This was planned. He loaded the truck, he brought blankets, he drove to that oil site. This was cold. In November 2018, Chris Watts was sentenced to 5 life terms with no chance of parole. He's now in a maximum security prison in Wisconsin. Shanann's family, especially her father, Frank Ruzicek, continues to advocate for her memory, warning others of emotional abuse, red flags, and narcissistic behavior in partners. There's also a Netflix documentary on the case, American Murder: The Family Next Door, built entirely from real footage, police cams, texts, and social media videos. It's hard to watch, but it's real. It shows how a polished social media life can hide something unimaginable. You know, covering this case really got to me. As someone who's seen a lot of crime stories, this one just feels hollow. Chris didn't have a violent record, no history of abuse. but he chose convenience over life. It makes you wonder, what else do we miss in the people around us? What signs are we trained to ignore? I hope this case reminds us that appearances lie, and that control, not rage, often drives these crimes. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. If this episode struck something in you, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think justice was served? Do you believe Chris Watts ever felt remorse? I'll see you next time on Crime with Hal.